Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we review Transformers issue 21. IDW Media Holdings sells off a subsidiary, and IDW shares how you can get their Transformers 84 issue 1 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive cover. Today is Friday, July 24th, 2020, and this is episode 191 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that thought we'd figured out a vaccine for COVID-19, but sadly, it only cures cosmic rust. I'm your host Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
The amazing and awesome producer and editor Mike.
Thankfully, it doesn't cure Empire of Rust.
Wow. And Daryl, the Cybertronian beast.
Turns out all you gotta do is wear a mask. Strange, eh? Let's talk Transformers. If you need a mask, we have some in our store.
Optimus Prime's got it covered.
He had a mask before it was cool. All right, as always, we start out the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal and keep the show going. Your support is really important to us, and we are welcoming our newest Donatreon, Jazz Meister. Thank you for becoming a part of our family and helping us out. We really appreciate it. And you are automatically entered into the Toy Hacks $10 giveaway that we do every month. And we are going to be doing that next week. So if you are already a Donatreon, of course you're already entered. But if you would like to get an entry into that contest, you can become a Donatreon. That is an easy way to do it. Or you can send an email to contest@transmissionspodcast.com and send us a picture of the Transformer toy you would like to get stickers for from Toy Hacks. So the cutoff is Sunday, July 26th. So please send in any entries by next Sunday to be considered for the contest next week. Good luck, everyone. And thank you, Jazz Meister. You are automatically entered. You can also help us out by buying some merchandise from our TeePublic store. That is at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. We've got some cool designs there. You can also check out the designs of our friend K-Girl. She's an awesome artist, and her store is at teepublic.com/user/superstark. And we've got some cool shirt designs. We've got mask designs. So if you are in the market for a mask when you're going out, and other merchandise as well. So anything you buy from our TeePublic store gives us a little commission. Of course, anything you buy from TeePublic in general will give us some support as long as you use our link. So don't forget, transmissionspodcast.com/shop. Next week, next Monday, we have the uncut version of Empire of Rust episode 28, and this is exclusive to our Donatreon. So Jazz Meister, this is another benefit you're getting access to. This will be Monday, July 27th, so right after this weekend. So we just had Empire of Rust episode 28 come out in the main feed last Monday, the 20th, and now the uncut version is available for our Donatreons. Will be available very soon. So if you are a Donatreon, you will have access to that. And episode 28 was the explosion episode. So is there some explosive behind the scenes commentary there, Mike?
Oh, yeah. We get into an explosive rules discussion. on the finer points of jumping and how far you fall in an elevator shaft.
Ooh. Sounds messy.
But yes, the uncut versions are literally just like straight up raw recordings. And if you're into actually hearing like what goes on at the table, and sometimes it is a rules discussion or a complaint of like, hey, why didn't this work? Hey, you know what? Sometimes that's what happens during gaming sessions. So enjoy.
Nice. And this is a virtual table because this is the first recording that you were doing remotely with everyone, with social distancing and everything in a post-COVID world.
Exactly right. It came with its own set of challenges. We're still using Roll20 for all of the visual effects, and we're using Discord for just talking to each other. And you'll hear that in the next, like in this episode and in the next couple of weeks. It does. Discord is on a Sunday night. Discord is not so great sometimes. It's a little bit, a little bit slow. The internet's a little bit picky.
We haven't noticed.
All right, and the last bit of transmissions news before we get into the show, we have an interview with F.J. DeSanto, the showrunner for the Netflix War for Cybertron Siege show that is coming out next week. So we have our interview going up this Monday as well. So this will be on YouTube, and we'll also have an audio version too. So you can either watch or listen. And that was a really cool interview. He's a very cool guy, and he's really I think he's one of the guys who really gets Transformers. And we were very encouraged for the upcoming Netflix show. So this is a completely spoiler-free interview. So listen for that. And then the Netflix show will just be out in a few days after that. So hope you enjoy that.
And we will also have our spoiler-free review of the Netflix show that same day.
Yes. All right. Let's start off with some comics news. All right, we've just got one little news item in comics, and this has to do with the behind the scenes with IDW business practices. Apparently, IDW Media Holdings, the umbrella corporation of which IDW Publishing is a part, is selling their subsidiary CTM Media Group to the IDW chairman. Okay. So I guess the chairman of the board for IDW, Mr. Jonas, Howard Jonas, he's going to buy this little chunk of IDW Media Holdings for $3.75 million, and then he'll convert the remaining, this is so basically IDW already owes him money. He lent IDW a bunch of money, $5 million, and now basically IDW is paying him back by giving him their subsidiary.
3.75 million of the 5 million will be essentially paid back by the sale.
Right. And then
he's converting the additional $1.25 million into 314,070 shares of IDW Media Holdings.
So I guess we're slightly reducing the debt that IDW is responsible for. I think it still speaks to they're still in a precarious position. They're still they're still trying to become profitable by the end of this year. It does seem a little weird to have the chairman basically bailing them out, but I guess it's his, he wants the company to succeed. So
if you look at what CTM Media Group does, they are a tourism company.
Oh, okay.
So not really, in the core business of what IDW is doing elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's probably a good thing to kind of focus in on what you're good at, and getting rid of this probably helps them long term.
Yeah. Although I wonder if a tourism company really has a value of $3.75 million in these days when there's basically no tourism anywhere. All right. Well, yeah. So as long as IDW Publishing is still in business and we're still getting comics, I think we're hopefully should be good. All right, that's all the comics news, so we will move on to our comic review. So this week we are reviewing Transformers number 21, Rise of the Decepticons, Tremors. Written by Brian Ruckley, art by Billy Montfort and Blackie Shepard, colors by Joanna LaFuente and John Paul Bove, letters and design by J. Cam Wood, editors David Marriott and Tom Waltz, and assistant editor Riley Farmer. We have 3 covers this week. Cover A is The Usual Suspects, Quake, Trigger Happy, Fangry, Rumble, Frenzy, and Rage by Casey Collar and John Paul Bove. Cover B, Unlikely Heroes, Landmine, Geomodus, Beachcomber, and Azimuth by E.J. Sue. And the retail incentive cover has Epic Chins of Our Villains, and that's by Philip Murphy, with colors by Leonardo Ito. So, Mike, which cover do you pick here?
I am going with Casey Collar and John Paul Bove's cover on this one. It is an absolutely beautiful image. I love it. Colors are great. Contrast is great. Lighting is good. Love it all.
Great. Daryl, which cover are you picking?
I'm going to have to agree. I really like the Casey Collar cover. It's just crisp lines, like always, really great detail. Nothing nothing crazy like the chins on the other one. They're just kind of like out of this world. And I really like Casey's art, and he's consistent, and his stuff looks good all the time. So yeah, Casey.
All right, and Jeremy, which cover are you picking?
I have to agree that Casey's probably my favorite, but I want to just shout out EJ Sue's cover, because when did we ever think that the little watch transformer would become a character? And just to see that on the cover of a comic, it's just not something I ever expected.
Yes, the Time Warrior.
Yeah.
All right, I am going to make it unanimous and pick Casey Collar's cover with John Paul Bove. I agree with everyone.
Paul boy.
I agree with everyone that is just an awesome image. I really like just the composition, the way that all the characters have their unique stance and position and pose. It just looks really cool, really badass. I do want to shout out Philip Murphy's cover with the epic chins, though. I don't understand why everyone got a super huge chin in that cover, but I still think it's unique, and I thought it was funny. And Philip Murphy did the Transformers versus Star Trek crossover from a couple years ago, so I enjoyed that. So I know he's got he does great art.
He's got the chops.
I just wonder about the chins. I'm wondering where those chins came from, but
The rare full Shelton for us.
that doesn't mean I'm going to buy it.
No, I mean the rare full Shelton for like all the hosts agreeing on a cover.
Okay. That's an expanded meaning of a Shelton. I didn't know that's what it meant too.
I think we can expand Shelton to anything that takes up everything.
Okay. All right, let's get into the story. Out in the wilderness of Cybertron, far from Iacon, a research team has been dispatched to survey the damage due to recent tremors. The team, Geomodus, Landmine, Beachcomber, and Azimuth, have found a giant fissure cracked open on the surface of the planet. Unfortunately, Leviathan, the Titan-sized transformer that has been in her metal harvester mode for kilocycles, was over the fissure when it opened and is now trapped. She asks the bots to call a search and rescue team to get her out. But with all the chaos on Cybertron, all the emergency response teams are stretched thin. Azimuth suggests she just transform into a robot mode and climb out of the hole, but Leviathan declares the harvester mode is her only mode, so she's kind of stuck. Back in Iacon, Bumblebee is in protective custody after being extracted from the Ascenticons. Windblade comes to see how her old friend is doing. Bumblebee doesn't like being forced into hiding, but he's making do. Windblade tries to reassure him that it won't be forever. Their conversation is interrupted when a holographic projection of Megatron appears in the sky above the city for everyone to see. Megatron declares that the Autobots are the cause of all of Cybertron's current problems and that their rule has failed. Their lies have let Cybertron down again and again. Megatron wants to show Cybertron the only way forward to a better Cybertron. Elsewhere in the city, Orion Pax and Chromia watch Megatron's message as well. Orion is convinced Megatron is actually the prime mover in all these events, and that all this chaos serves his purposes. But they still don't know Megatron's endgame, and if they don't figure it out soon, they won't be able to stop him. Out in the wastelands, a transport is taking some of the Rise's most unpredictable members to another secret hiding location. Quake and Frenzy are wanted for murder. Rumble is Frenzy's partner in crime. Rage and Trigger Happy live up to their names. It's only a matter of time before Fangry snaps. So Shockwave is getting rid of all these troublemakers while the Rise is public enemy number 1. Unfortunately, their trip is interrupted by another tremor that crashes their transport vehicle. This tremor also draws the attention of the nearby geological survey team. They leave Leviathan to investigate the new fissure cracked in the surface and see the bots emerge from their transport container in the distance. They recognize Quake and realize these might be criminals wanted by security. They call it in, but Giamottis doesn't want to be involved and transforms back to his survey ATV mode to drive back to Leviathan and wait there. At the transport crash site, the Rise criminals are stuck. They could have gotten their driver, Rough Stuff, to hitch up the trailer and haul them out of the pit if Trigger Happy hadn't already shot him in the head. They called Six Shot for support and he ordered them to stay there and wait. But these guys aren't keen on following orders, especially now that they've noticed someone watching them from a nearby ridge. Trigger Happy happily transforms and flies off to take care of whoever is spying on them with blasters. Landmine, Beachcomber, and Azimuth observe this but lose track of Trigger Happy's jet mode in the glare of the sun, so he surprises them when he transforms and lands right in front of them with guns drawn. Trigger Happy orders them angrily and repeatedly to say his name. But these bots are a research science team and don't know him. They also think it's probably a bad idea to obey him anyway. It doesn't matter because Trigger Happy fires anyway, shooting Beachcomber point blank. He's wounded but still alive. Landmine transforms to his construction vehicle mode and slams into Trigger Happy, knocking him off his feet. Trigger Happy fires back, but Landmine's vehicle mode front is armored and the blasts are ineffective. Trigger Happy transforms back to jet mode and flies off, but at that moment the cavalry arrives. Windblade gives pursuit of Trigger Happy while the rest of Nova Star's security team arrives in a transport to apprehend the Rise criminals. Springer and Blades provide more air support while SureShot and Smokescreen join Nova Star on the ground. Quake and the other Rise members are itching for a fight, so they transform and attack. Nova Star orders Smokescreen to provide cover, and he drives around the battlefield, spewing smoke everywhere. Quake can't see where he's going and nearly crushes Rumble and Frenzy while he chases Smokescreen. Smokescreen leads Quake right into the business end of Nova Star's energy snare gun, and he's immobilized. Unfortunately, Rage and Trigger Happy get away, and Windblade reports that Six Shot is inbound to bring more pain. Knowing their time is short with Six Shot joining the fray, SureShot tells Blades to drop on Frenzy now as he fires a sniper shot from long distance that incapacitates Frenzy. Blades transforms and lands on Frenzy triumphant and ready to bring him in, but he's knocked away by Six Shot transformed into his wolf mode. Nova Star isn't backing down and orders her team to engage Six Shot and keep fighting. They're bringing these criminals to justice today. Back in Icon, Point Blank has a standoff with a Voin Scavenger's ape-like subordinate creature. The Voin have discovered that Quake is the bot who murdered one of their kind, and they want him brought to them. Nautica, the Cybertronian's diplomat with other alien species, assures Point Blank that she'll warn him if things with the Voin escalate beyond posturing. In Icon's communication hub, Chromia brings Blaster some additional support. Glyph, a master data and code expert, and her bodyguard support Tapout. She also assigns Steeljaw to their team for additional protection, while Blaster, Glyph, and the others try to reactivate all the Titans in orbit around Cybertron. Meanwhile, Blaster bids farewell to Lightbright and the recently repaired Lodestar, the only online Titan available to chase the rogue Titan Vigilum after he destroyed the Energon moon tether. In the Outlands, Giamottis hears all the commotion of the battle between Cybertron security and the Rise while he is waiting with Leviathan. Giamottis laments that his friends are in trouble and he can't help them fight. Finally, Leviathan has had enough and she transforms to her immense robot mode and climbs out of the fissure, ready to put an end to the chaos. To be continued. So I actually really enjoyed this issue. I thought it was a nice, action-packed story. I like the characterization of the Rise with Trigger Happy especially was a standout for me, and really giving him a characterization that matches his name, which I thought was funny. I also liked using Smokescreen for, he did that a lot in the G1 cartoon where he would, drive around the battlefield and smoke everything up. So he does it again. And I just thought that battle was a really well done and a nice use of all the characters' little powers and quirks and everything. Jeremy mentioned it at the beginning, but we get the Time Warrior renamed to Azimuth here, and he's just a giant watch, which. Okay, I wonder. I mean, I wonder if maybe Hasbro is going to re-release the Time Warrior at some point. Why did he make it into this comic? I'm not complaining, but it seems really unusual to put this guy in the comic. But it was fun. And the art, I liked the art style with of the battle scenes with the Rise and with the other geological guys. I think that all that was done by Billy Montfort, and then Blackie Shepherd did the other scenes. The scenes by Blackie Shepherd are, we had seen the line art for that last week, and I thought it looked pretty good when it was just the lines, but now looking at it colored, I'm kind of not feeling the artwork, or at least the style is so drastically different from what we get in the other scenes. It's just a weird juxtaposition, but I think the battle was well done for the most part. Also, the last scene with Blaster, that one page with Blaster and his team, and then Steeljaw just looks really, really weird in that one page. And I think that was also by Blackie Shepherd there. So I really didn't like how Steeljaw was rendered in that one page. But yeah, I'm surprisingly positive on this issue, and I'm looking forward to the next issue. So, Daryl, I'm going to start with you. What did you think? Was this enough action, or still not enough?
The action for it was okay. I found that it kept stopping in the action sequences to go back and revisit the other parts of the stories right when the action was getting good, and I thought, don't stop the action there, like finish it off, or go, when you're right in the middle of an action scene, I don't care what's going on in the other part of the story. You don't stop the fight, to check in with the communications base and see who they're talking to. It was bad pacing in my eyes. The story was okay. It moved the greater story along, fine. I had a really issue with the art. I guess that Billy Manafort was probably the more preferable for me during this issue, but really neither one of them was a standout. I was having issues kind of rectifying the art in this issue. Like the ones that you were talking about are really, really highly detailed, but doesn't seem to kind of fit with the scenery that it's in. In particular, the one scene with Optimus at the beginning, I think he's still called Orion at this point. He's crazy detail got on this Orion here. And same with Chromia that is with him. The background is just, there's nothing on one of the smaller panels. It's just like an orangey, haze. The upper panel is just like some buildings in a skyline with some, there should be some kind of like comparable detail for the background here. it's just it just threw me. The art from Billy as well. It's just it's more cartoony, but it's also very plain. There's really no scenery on these panels. Now I know that it's mentioned in the book or the story that they're out in the like this wasteland or whatever where this old battle took place, and it's very, special to the culture or whatever. But like, give us something to kind of look at. The art really did take me out of it. I was happy to see Landmine in the story as a character, somebody that's not G1. Transformers comics especially do get a lot of shit because they really just concentrate on G1 characters and they really don't throw anyone else in. So we've got Landmine and we've got the Time Warrior and and we've got a few other characters in here that are not G1, and that's cool. That's great. Bring them on. Let's introduce them more. Cybertron, populate the planet with characters. There should be characters walking around in the background of some of these other scenes that are in the middle of the city, that are just, it just feels like the city's like empty. The whole planet is empty except for the characters that are involved in the story, and it's just it's not. That there's millions of characters on this planet, so show some of them. But yeah, the story was fine. The art is what really kind of pulled me out of it. I think it could have been much better.
All right, and we also have another. We have Rage. That's a G2 character. One of the criminals there. The guy who turns into the black car.
Right. Yes. Yep. I will mention that when what is it? What's the name of the one in the hole here?
Leviathan.
All right. Okay. So when Leviathan transforms and starts coming out of the hole, I was like, okay, all right, let's fucking go here. Like, you've got to fight. Like, I'm ready. Like, bring on the giant big characters here. Like, let's have a good old throwdown, right? Like, Leviathan looks pissed because you made me transform and I didn't want to transform. So I don't care what side you're on, you're all dying, kind of thing. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready for issue 22 to be just a fucking throwdown. So like, so I'm pumped for 22. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure Leviathan's going to come out of the hole and then sit down on the ground, crisscross applesauce, and have a little talk with everybody, and just say, "Hey, what's your deal here?" And then I'm sure that's probably what's going to happen. But I want to fight. I want a big fight.
All right, for your sake, Daryl, I hope you're wrong. All right, Mike, what did you think of this issue?
I'll definitely agree with Daryl on the art. The art feels very, very plain, and while the line work is pretty solid, especially on that page with Prime, it's just the colors on a lot of the book just feel very flat, and the lack of backgrounds on a lot of these panels. I mean, some of it you can kind of justify, but I mean, I'm looking at some of like the interactions with all of the Decepticons here, and like a couple of the panels are just, it's a blank white background. And I hate to say it, but I think they did the smoke screen like smoke just so they wouldn't have to draw the backgrounds. Because right now it's just lines with a gradient, and it's like, ooh, that's not really the way you do smoke.
That's a good point.
But yeah, I think out of all this, the weakest part is probably the artwork. On the last page, when you're looking at Leviathan, like Leviathan's rendered pretty well. Some decent lighting effects over. It's a her, right?
Yes, it's a her.
So some decent lighting effects over her. Some decent like detail work on the chasm that she's climbing out of. So that works out pretty well. But yeah, I mean, just like that wasteland, it's just a flat gray with the gradient, and that's it. It's like, ooh, that's not so great. I do agree with you, Charles, on Trigger Happy's characterization. Mm-hmm. I don't understand him. I mean, he gets to these guys here. He gets to Landmine and Beachcomber and Azimuth. He's just like shouting out, "Say my name." It's funny, but it doesn't make any sense.
It's like, say my name, Martha. Why'd you say that name?
I mean, is it just something I missed? Like I haven't kept up religiously with all the previous issues. Has Trigger Happy really had a big role in the last couple issues?
No, not at all. This is his really first major appearance. So, I mean, I guess he's just I guess in his mind he thinks if you call him Trigger Happy, that gives him license to shoot you. I don't know. Maybe, like, hey, you're so trigger happy. Oh, you think so? Bam, bam, bam. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's going for.
And why do they shoot his driver?
Yeah, that maybe the driver said, trigger happy, you idiot. And then he said, oh, you think I'm trigger happy? And then he shot him. I don't know.
But who was it?
I don't know.
Someone said his name like in the group over there, and he didn't shoot him.
That's true. That is true. So it's not consistent. I don't know. I don't know, Mike. I didn't write the book, so I can't tell you.
Oh, you didn't write the book. Okay. Understood. Overall, like the actual story itself is kind of neat. I did like the part at the end with Leviathan.
Yeah.
And I really do love kind of like the more like social aspects of a lot of Transformers, like how their society would feel differently like than us. And we explored that a little bit during like More Than Meets the Eye and Robots in Disguise era. But I think it really is like one of the big high points for the book for this entire series for me is how Transformers really do feel and act differently than us. The idea of like a Titan who doesn't want to transform into her robot mode is just that's a really cool concept, and I really like that they had that in there. Yeah, that's what I think.
All right, Jeremy, we'll finish up with you.
I have to agree with a lot of what's been said. I enjoyed the story pretty well. It moved things along. It had a good amount of action, more than we've had in a while. But I just have to echo so much about the art. It's so different kind of than what we've been getting on one point. Like we saw in the most recent Galaxies one, I remember there was a scene where we complained or maybe Daryl complained about the lack of detail in a group scene that like, it was basically just like, they were all identical kind of squiggles. And then you saw Gage, but compared to that, this with no backgrounds, it's just night and day. I mean, the backgrounds add so much to the environment, like the characters, and when they're not there, it's very stark and very, I don't know, noticeable. So, I mean, I don't know exactly how to express myself. It really kind of took me out. And then some of the images, like that first page that you see Windblade and Bumblebee, fairly well done all around, I would think. I mean, Windblade has a lot more detail in her face than what I think we're used to seeing. Very much looking like the old Generations toy that came out, I think. But, not really much complaining about that. But then the next page, I don't know, just lack of background. And then especially the fight scenes, like you guys were saying, put some mountains or just something in the background. It's like they're taking up so much of each panel with just the ground, which is just another shade of gray. It's just, I don't know. I mean, the actual robots and stuff, for the most part, in the fight scene, I'm fine with, but it's just the backgrounds. And the colors seemed a little muted. I don't know if that's just a review copy or what, but throughout the whole thing, the colors seemed a little muted. But I don't know. I mean, I think I enjoyed the book for the story more than anything in this one, which is kind of a change for some recent issues. It's rough going from like Transformers 84 last week to this. Such a stark change. But you get an extra point for having the Time Warrior in it.
Yeah.
And then the Leviathan kind of reveal at the end. I liked having it where you're not seeing this character until the very end, and hopefully Leviathan does turn out to be a badass like you're led to believe here. And then what you were saying, Mike, about this society, I don't know if we've ever had a character just kind of prefer their alt mode, have that be their preferred form, and then she's upset that she's having to leave the form that she wants to be in.
Yeah.
That's just such an interesting concept that I hope is explored a little bit more.
All right, cool. Well, that is our review of Transformers number 21. So we will move on to Transformers Media News.
All right, so 2 things in media news for this week. Netflix Japan has posted on their YouTube account a new promo clip for the Netflix series, for the Transformers Netflix series. Goes over some of the new scenes, character portraits, and yes, very different voices for the Japanese dub. Even though it is in Japan, you should still be able to get access to it on their YouTube page. And if dubs interest you, then go ahead and take a look at that. And the second thing is some updates on the next leg of the War for Cybertron trilogy, which is going to be called Kingdom. And just like about most of the rumors over the last couple weeks, it has been confirmed essentially confirmed that they are going back to Beasts. So that's going to be interesting. Jeremy, I think you are the only big fan of Beast Wars around here.
No.
No. It's all Jeremy. It's all Jeremy.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Wow.
Any big anticipations for this series? Anything big that you're looking forward to?
Well, I think I've been seeing people going nuts thinking that this is going to be 1-to-1 what we got in Beast Wars, and that's not going to happen. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the characters, hopefully their personalities from the show, but seeing how it integrates. And are we going to have any of these like current cast of characters that we are introduced to in Siege carry over into whatever Kingdom is? I mean, and is it going to have time travel like Beast Wars did? And it's just, I don't know. I'm excited about the possibilities that it opens up. At this point, I want to get Siege done and Earthrise done because it seems like that's just going to be so far down the line.
True. So I guess we don't have any of the Beast Wars fans here. I'm just kidding. Charles, any anticipation from you?
Yeah, I'm really curious as to how they're going to work Beast Wars into the whole storyline they've crafted here, because I mean, with War for Cybertron Siege, we're still on Cybertron. We haven't even made it to Earth yet. And then Earthrise, we have no information about what's going on there because, I mean, I assume they're eventually get to Earth in Earthrise, but like the first Netflix chapter is supposed to be like the last day of the war on Cybertron. So everything on, those 6 episodes cover basically a very short amount of time. Is Earthrise going to cover like the whole war on Earth? Like the whole, the Autobots and Decepticons coming to Earth and then whatever happens afterwards. And then, how are we going from there into Beast Wars and Kingdom? I'm really curious as to what the whole arc of the story is, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm really curious how they're going to work that in, what the characters are going to be. Are we going to, like Jeremy said, is it going to be far in the future where they're descendants of the Autobots and Decepticons, similar to how they were in Beast Wars? Or, I'm excited for all the possibilities. But yeah, it's going to be a long wait. It's probably going to be another 2 years because we've got Earthrise next year, and then Kingdom won't be to the year after that. So I guess we'll see the toys next year, but we won't see the show until 2022.
And Daryl, I know you hate all animals.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of animals in particular. No. I don't know. I'm not the Beast Wars are just. Yeah.
The animation will be much better, Daryl. I can guarantee that.
Let's just say that knowing that the show will be 6 episodes when it comes around makes me happy.
Oh. As for me, I'm hoping we get something along the lines of like robotic animals, kind of like G1 Predacons, G1 Dinobots, stuff like that. I'd be okay with that. I'm not too convinced about like realistic looking animals for it. So yeah, I don't know about that. But
It'll be all the tape animals.
Yeah. But yeah, like everyone's been saying so far, it is certainly well down the line for this leg of the cartoon. So we are going to have to wait and see. And hate to say it there, Daryl, but if War for Cybertron, if the Siege cartoon does really well, they may have more for Earthrise, and if that does well, they may have more for Kingdom.
I've had a good run in Transformers. I might need. It's time I get out at that. I guess.
Really, Daryl? This is your breaking point. This is the straw that breaks the camel's back.
I have seen people on Facebook that are like, "Well, I guess don't have to get that series, or that I can just stop collecting now." And I'm like, you haven't even seen it. All you have is one word.
Daryl, you're collecting the movie studio series Constructicons, and this is what's taking you out of Transformers.
It's a step too far.
If the toys are okay, maybe. I might buy some toys. I'm not a big fan of the Beast Wars. No, that's truck not monkey, man. No, truck not monkey. I'm gonna bring that back.
All right. Well, so to sum all this up, cartoon good, Daryl bad. All right. Moving on. And the last thing we got in media news is for the U.S. audience of Hasbro's YouTube channel, we get episode 17 of Cyberverse. So, enjoy watching that if you're in the U.S. Only if you're in the U.S. And that is it for media news. Back to you, Charles.
All right, and we will finish up the show with convention news.
Some Comic-Con at home updates. IDW has put some of their exclusive covers up on their Comic-Con at home web store. They're going to have the Transformers 84 Secrets and Lies #1 convention cover, which has essentially the Optimus Prime image from the original package art from the 80s. And then they're going to have a My Little Pony Transformers miniseries #1 Jack Lawrence variant cover. And both of these actually went, according to their social media, went up on July 20th, which is after we record this, but before you listen to it. So look on social media. Hopefully they will have links to where you can get it. We're assuming it's on IDW's web store, but as of right now, they haven't actually posted where you can get it. If you find out, let us know. We'll probably know by then.
It's probably sold out by now.
It's probably also sold out. So good luck. Also, TF Nation, they posted this a week or so ago, but I noticed it when I was prepping some stuff for the show. They have merch available, so if you want to, you can go to the link we have in the show note or just go to tfnation.com, and they have a number of shirts and stuff. They're using morethanmerch.com. It's more than merch the eye. It looks like it might something they set up. I'm assuming it ships worldwide, but I'm not 100% sure, so we will see. It is a Shopify thing, so hopefully they do. They have some neat designs here, much like all Transformer sites do, including us. They have their logo in various incarnations matching, the cartoon and comic logos. But yeah, get some TF Nation merch and be ready for the big broadcast in August. That is all we got in convention news this week.
All right, and that will do it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. Mike, anything you want to plug before we sign off?
Empire of Rust, of course. You can find it at transmissionspodcast.com/rust or in your Transmissions media feeds. Give me a follow on Twitter at Minervion. That's MINERVION. And if you are on our Discord channels here, I have been posting some experimentation with photography. I used to be into it a lot when I was in college, but I have kind of fell out of it, and I'm getting back into it. So I've been posting some toy pictures that you can all peruse in the creative channel.
Very cool. All right, everyone, that's it for this episode. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, all.
Bye.
Truck Knock Monkey. Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
I had to train students to do that, to give themselves 5 seconds of silence at the start of their recordings, and it was like the hardest thing for them to do. Like the moment they started recording, everyone just started looking at each other and cracking up. At least you guys don't have to see each other.
Thank God.
I don't think that... Oh, okay.
That's the problem. That's the part I had a problem with.
Okay.
At least I can.
This is Transformers themed. I think it works better.
But cosmic rust isn't an actual disease.
Take the win, Daryl. It's mostly your intro.
He's gonna go just like sulk in a corner.
I am sulking.
You can sulk, Daryl, but be sure it's high energy, please.
Let's fucking go. I gotta work tomorrow. Outside of the house.
Oh, wow. Aren't you fancy?
I'm special.
I wouldn't know what that's like. It's been 5 years.
Oh, there's one more thing, Mike.
I skipped it because it's just a rumor of a poster or a rumor of an image of like a low-res image for it. It's like
below that, it's the thing we do every week. The Cyberverse is on YouTube every week.
I remember past.
He's been cutting it out.
Already happened.
Doesn't surprise me. Okay, you know why I always mess that one up? Because you don't actually have a link for it. I blame Charles.
Well,
anyway,
I can't have a link because it doesn't drop until tomorrow.